What's up, everybody? Brett here, and I'm back today playing some more Battle Brothers, picking up exactly where we left off last time. Okay, it's day 60. It's dawn. We're in Grolfest, finally in the good graces of House Austin. They're cold towards us. We can only use 2 of their cities at the moment because some of them are still threatening, or consider us threatening, or threatening us, however you want to phrase it. They don't like us. Probably has something to do with our reputation, maybe. But someone let me know in the comment section, and I appreciate you. If you read the bottom area here, it says, based on your reputation, people may offer you different kinds of contracts, and both contracts and events may play out differently. So that may be why I'm having like different results. I'm basically playing a bad guy on the campaign map, but in my events, I'm playing a good guy. So I'm getting like a little bit of interference there, and I don't know how long this takes to change, but maybe it needs to. I don't know, but we're going to keep raiding, so I don't know if it ever will. We're also reputable right now. Your renown is your repute as a professional mercenary company and reflects how reliable and competent people judge you to be. We're at 1408, which is a pretty decent amount for day 60. Guys, I pulled the trigger. Before we get too far into it, I went ahead and recruited Burke. Burke was the sellsword, very expensive, but when I purchased him, and I did it off camera because I was like, man, do I want to do this? And I clicked on it, and I just kind of wanted to sit and feel for a second whether or not it was any good, because he's so expensive. He's 42 crowns a turn. He came with huge, which gives him increased melee damage, which is kind of good if he's going to use the polearm, but his melee and range defense suffer a little bit, but they're still okay. I mean, they're not in the negatives, which is sometimes something that happens. He came with, surprisingly enough, 2 stars in range skill. So he's going to be a superb crossbowman. And he already having 61 melee skill means we almost don't need to pump that at all. We can get him up to 70 and call it quits. And he's already ahead of our level 9 like Skibo and Wonton, who are great defensive brothers, but he's going to be a very powerful offensive one. His fatigue is okay considering we just strapped all this gear to him. Resolve, fine. I went ahead and gave him his points as needed. Colossus, we had to get him up over 70. That way he couldn't be one-shotted like his predecessor. Actually, he got 2-shotted, but the point, I think, still remains. And now we have Zach Longshanks to level. And I think I already know what we want to do with him. And that's give him Rally the Troops. So I had a long discussion in the comment section one time with someone who was like, well, actually multiple people who were like, why don't you give your sergeant your banner and have your sergeant and your bannerman be the same guy? And that's very strong. If you can keep your group together centered around a sergeant bannerman, someone with well over 100 morale, your group is going to be pretty hard to break. But what happens most often and most organically in battles is sometimes, especially in the bigger battles, you'll find yourself pulled in different directions where your allies will be, at more than 4 tiles away, and having 2 sources of really strong morale. He's over 100 right now. We don't even need to pump him anymore. We just need to keep pumping Zach when we can. We'll take that 4 here. But having, potentially a bannerman on one side of the battlefield and a sergeant on the other. And generally I like to offset them. So I'll probably end up putting, Zach off to the side here and Wonton over here. That way there's just a better coverage of that type of resolve. So I hope that kind of clears that up a little bit. It's basically anticipating the fact that there will be very important battles where my army will get pulled apart, and wanting to kind of circumvent that as best we can by having multiple solid sources of Rally the Troops. And sometimes, I mean, honestly, just having 2 sources of Rally the Troops is important, because sometimes, the guy who's running is your sergeant. Maybe Wonton Food, well, he probably will never run because he has 100 resolve. But maybe Zach takes a shot to the face with a crossbow. Next thing you know, he's running. And then we don't have anything. We don't have any sources of morale at all. And, spreading it out, there's a lot of good reasons to diversify, and I hope I've kind of explained that somewhat well. Just plan for the worst is kind of how I like to play. So just briefly looking at his stats, he's going to be a good brother. His name is Burke. I like that he's a sellsword too. I think that kind of fits with our raiding theme. So we've got 3 barbarians. We've got Sir Lancel, our one adventurous noble, because he's Jotunar's brother from another mother. And we also have Wonton Fu the monk, who came with our party. We've got, man, only one of our apprentices, I believe. Yeah, a flagellant. I don't know. We're not quite as heavy on the theme as I would like to be. Poachers are good. We have 2 poachers, and we have some militia as well. So I wanted to have a company as made up of mostly barbarians, but we haven't really been able to find any. Hopefully that'll change soon. But as of right now, we are low on crowns. We only have 3 days worth of pay. We're great on food, great on tools, great on ammunition. Buying that brother, or hiring Burke, and buying this great sword have really upset our economy. And since they're not willing to give us another contract, I don't know if we want to risk going back down to Burkwall and hoping to get a contract, or if we explore the wilds here a bit and try and get up to Campwalk and maybe see what's going on up north. I kind of like that a bit better. I think if we look out here, we may find some stuff. So let's risk it. I know that was like 6 minutes of me talking. I hope you guys don't mind. But we had a lot of stuff to clear up. And I don't think... Oh, check this out. You notice the mutt a few miles back, and a few miles forward he's still there, bobbing and slinking in and out of sight. A mongrel such as he doesn't follow a band of dangerous men for no reason. Maybe someone is feeding it. So we can chase him away, we can try and kill it, or we can take it in as a mascot. And we gained Battle Brother. In our last playthrough, I think we ended up accidentally losing 4 of these guys, but we always gave them the best armor and used them in the best situations. So you decide to take a chunk of meat and approach the dog. It is skittish at first, backing away on your approach, but the aroma you have in hand is an alluring one to be sure. The mongrel slinks back towards you, pausing here and there, eyes flickering in search of an ambush. You can see a barrel of ribs on the dog, many days on the road, having given the pump a gaunt frame. Its ears are stitched up, and its tail bolted with signs of battle. This here animal knows how to fight, and that's just what it'll be doing for you from now on. Welcome to the company, Battle Brother. I consider Battle Brothers as the dogs to be basically another brother, and I try to keep them alive as if they are. He doesn't have any armor, but once we start killing unholds, hopefully we can make him some. I think it's unhold hide that you need to make the really heavy dog armor. This reminds me, this kind of hit me in the heart a little bit, because I just picked up a stray kitten and started taking care of it. He's been meowing at me all day. I let him inside. He's an outside cat, but I let him inside whenever I'm eating, and he just kind of sits under my stool and just like meows at me. Very cute. 2 brigands. What am I going to do with 2 brigands? That makes me think that maybe there's a hideout around here. Yes. Dead Gate Crypt. Haunted by the ghosts of the past, the dead won't find sleep here. I mean, that looks a lot like a undead fight. But, I mean, maybe there are raiders in here? Nope. Oh my god, that's a large group. I think we commit. I think if... Oh, I shouldn't have passed that. I should have used my falcon. Okay, we're going to pass with everyone. Go back and use the falcon that we picked up in the last episode. I'm seeing a lot of unarmored Wiedergangers, which is making me think that this is just a huge group of, you know, weenies, essentially. I see, obviously, one Geist. But if some fallen heroes start jumping forward, if we start to see, you know, if we see a Necromancer in the back, I'm anticipating at least one Necromancer. Shoot the ones with the weapons. Is our falcon? Okay, so it's just a bunch of zombies and a couple Geists. That's pretty much nothing. And you'll see that was the first time we've gotten to use our falcon in this game, in this this actual playthrough. Very useful. Now we know exactly what we're fighting. We know that they're all directly in front of us. Nice. I try to hit him. I just like... I don't even want to explain that. That was something. I have no words. And then very soon here, we will switch out for our banner to make sure we don't suffer any weird Geist situations. We don't want them to rout us with their banshee screams. This should be easy. Without a Necromancer, if this fight had even just like a Necromancer, raising them, causing possession. This could be a much more difficult fight. Like exponentially more difficult. Obviously it would be more difficult, but it would be exponentially more difficult. Because we'd have to kill the same zombie so many times. Let's take a single shot. Get that banner out. And you see here, after you use the falcon, you just get like a little feather in your inventory that lets you know that they're released, but you still have it. I don't hate this fight. I mean, there's a potential that we get some kind of sick loot from here. We've gotten lucky before with these types of, you know, what do you call these? Like these locations. We have gotten lucky. Spear wall, push them to the either side. In the past, I've done full playthroughs where my entire front line was nothing but fighting spears and kite shields. Basically broken against some types of enemies, and against others just kind of medium effective. But with the right set of like perks, it's basically an unbreakable wall. If you have all shield and spear masters and you're just using shield wall repeatedly, spear wall, you just have to have good enough fatigue to sustain it. So we're not jumping out against them. Let them come to us. Wiedergangers suffer no fatigue loss. Yeah, and if you want to kill undead, spears. Because they'll just run into them mindlessly. Thinking of that made me want to talk about Game of Thrones pretty bad. But I'm going to hold off on that for a while just because I know there are people who still haven't seen it. The finale came out recently. And I was pretty hyped for it. Despite my feelings on kind of the last season, which were not all the way negative, just... for those of you who don't know, like, I loved fantasy as a kid. Like, I'm about 30 years old now, but when I was in, you know, like middle school, high school, I read a ton of fantasy. Robert Jordan, if you like the Wheel of Time series. I read Raymond Feist, is more of a classic writer. Some of the big names. It's been a while. R. Scott Baker, the Prince of Nothing series, one of my favorites. Who else? Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I was up to like book 8. But the problem was when I was reading fantasy, a lot of the biggest series now, they weren't finished yet. I had to wait. So when I started reading G.R.R. Martin, he had like his third, I think it was his third book was getting ready to release. So that tells you how long ago that was. So I was able to read the first one, read the second one, and then by the time that I was done with that, I think it's A Storm of Swords came out, third book. I might be wrong. It might be A Feast for Crows, or is that the fourth book? Hard to remember. It's been a while, but you know, I was reading it as it went. So, you know, years and years went by of me just kind of hyping the story up in my head and wondering, and just constantly wondering without any end in sight what the story was. It's one thing, like, if you became a Game of Thrones fan or a Song of Ice and Fire fan within the last couple of years, you certainly haven't had instant gratification, but every year you know that you've gotten an installment of the story. But when you're young, and you know you have to wait 4 or 5 years in between books, it's like, that's forever. And Robert Jordan, he died before he finished the Wheel of Time series. And actually, I read, I think up to book like 11 or something. I think there are 13 books in that. Each book, you know, something like 1,000 pages long. And I don't know how it ends. I have no idea. I think his son ended up finishing it. But anyway, you know, reading fantasy, especially unfinished fantasy, is quite the investment. I think they are making a Wheel of Time series. I think I've heard that. Though I haven't done any like research into that myself. I don't know how good that'll be. That probably would not be my first choice. It's a bit cheesier. It's the classic blacksmith's son turns out to be more than he seems type of story. If I was going to pick a series to make into a show with the same budget and scale as Game of Thrones, it would be the Malazan Book of the Fallen series, which is probably the largest scale fantasy I've ever heard of. And I don't know if there's ever been anything quite as audacious. But yeah, I'm still working on finishing my office as well. Mostly just due to having my focus pulled in other directions. I could probably finish it today if I just didn't do anything else. And didn't like mind driving myself a little bit crazy, hanging shelves and doing other things. But it's pretty much done. And I bring that up because, man, I've got all these like metal shelves that attach to the walls. They're super heavy and a little bit difficult to hang by myself anyway. But once they're done, I've already got some of them up on one wall. I have a bunch of my old fantasy books are hung up there. I've got just my old Game Boy Color, just a bunch of cool things to kind of decorate the room. And it's coming out really well. I had like previously painted my entire room. I had to have a desk custom, made to fit the space that I'm putting it in. So I'm trying to put a lot more effort into it than perhaps it needed. Let's go ahead and use adrenaline there. Maybe we can get this Geist kill. Step up. Still have the ability to shoot. If we kill him, potentially we unlock some of these other guys to step up. Man, I thought for sure that would be a one-shot. Get him. Perfect. So hopefully when I'm finished soon, you guys can see my glorious fantasy book collection. Many of which I'm missing. Like, I'm still missing stuff. A long time ago when I was younger and I was still living at home. Of course, I was in, high school or such. Parents were thinking about moving, so we had all my books in storage, and a lot of them got lost. Like an entire, think like a giant, like a big box from Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. Just a standard big size packing box full of books is basically what I lost. So I went to a used bookstore just the other day with my family and found a bunch of used copies of the books that I'm missing. And I know they're missing because, I've got whole series where I'm missing like the third book, the sixth book, that type of thing. And that's just, as someone who's a little bit OCD and likes to collect things, that bothers the heck out of me. Swinging that sword's making Isaac pretty tired. He doesn't quite have the fatigue yet for this great sword, but he will soon. Bill Hook. Hopefully you guys don't mind me making a little small talk during a otherwise potentially boring zombie fight. Trying to keep it conversational. I like feeling kind of like you guys are in the room with me and we're just chilling, talking about stuff. Did we get any levels off of that? No. Any loot? Not real. I mean, this should cover what we need to keep going. Kind of hoping for maybe a group of raiders. Basically just to get their gear. And I wanted to go up on the mountains before nighttime because I wanted to get a good look at the area, but that's not going to happen. I don't think we can get out here. Maybe we can from this spot. They need to be really close together or to have these little kind of patchy spots. And I was hoping there might be a fight here, but I mean, it's pretty close to a wooden watchtower. So it's our first harbor, which we can use to travel nowhere because there are no other connecting harbors. I can't believe that. Is that true? Or do we have to discover this first? Yeah, we'll have to discover Camp Waiter in order to travel there, but we could potentially take a boat from there to there, and that's a pretty good distance. I don't usually like to use harbors because I like to make money while I walk, but if I ever had to get down there for some reason or just wanted to, that could be pretty efficient. Oh my god. Warhounds. A strong and loyal northern hound bred for war can be unleashed in battle for scouting, tracking, and running down routing enemies. I don't know what the difference is. They're clearly more expensive. Let's sell off the junk and see what we have. Because as much as I want to buy one, I can't bankrupt us to do that, sadly. We know they're here now. 4 more days. Let's see what this contract is, and maybe we'll figure out that we can afford to recruit them. And this is also a good place to get nets. They have a lot of tools. Food is somewhat cheap. This is not a bad spot. They have a butcher. Butcher is a unique background. You can get a lot of weird things happen if you got a butcher. Contract. Greenskins, okay. Okay. I accept the contract, but I don't know where that city is. They want us to go all the way over here to fight greenskins? What the hell? What the hell? I would not have taken that contract. I should have checked. Dang. We might have to sell this just to make sure we have something around 6 days. Yeah, and then we might even have to buy. Can we get up to 7 days? Yeah. Still have 6 days, 7 days. We're low on ammo, but we can't really help that. Dang. Man, I would not have taken that. But at least now we know that all you need to get these bigger warhounds is to go up north, essentially. I don't think it's a special kennel. Well, let's travel, and let's take some fights along the way. The sad thing is that no one likes us here, so we really are going to have to rely on what we have left, what little we have left, to get us there and back. So I may not even want to be messing around too much. I was just hoping to find some fights out here in the wilderness. Barbarians. I'll fight barbarians. I don't really want to fight them at night, but that's where we are. Now we got to kill some glorious warhounds. 4 of them. Alright, some throwing weapons already in hand. See what they got. In daytime, I think we would just absolutely slaughter all of them, because we wouldn't be missing even a little bit. Man. Good hit. Nice. Anyone without armor and without a shield is just going to get wrecked by my bows. All the dogs are going down too. Wow, we missed those. Okay. I'll tell you what, let's step up. They both have throwing weapons out, and I think they're going to regret that now. Do dogs have zones of control? They do, but we managed to get out of it. Just something I couldn't remember. And we're going to leave our backline just a bit exposed to that throwing weapon. I'm not that worried about it. And it's good to remember that they have quick hands, essentially, I feel like. So just counting on them to not be able to attack us because they have throwing weapons out is not a good strategy. They'll still be able to attack us. Good hit. Nice. Get up there, force him to run. Let's go for the big swing. And that nailed him. They're not quite running yet. And only one guy left to fight. Pretty easy. We need to start fighting those Reavers. The Thralls are no challenge. We are the superior Barbarian horde. We have the Lord of War. We have a Thane. And we have Isaac the Sisu. Which is also like a badass God of War. That was your chance, buddy. You got a stun. Get the kill. Oh, we don't have enough. Never mind. And there we go. So easy fight for us. Someone pointed out to me that the bear hat is the same as a wooden shield in terms of its cost. So we could have just been using that bear hat I sold the whole time as my gauge of selling value. Bone figurines. And then a bunch of junk. Yeah, that wasn't a very cost-effective battle, but experience, I guess. Did anyone level and I just didn't pay attention? Nope. We still have some injuries we're working through. Eugene took a lot of hard hits in the previous episode. Whoa. Okay. It's dawn, so, oh man, we're going to run a train on these dudes. Tribal shacks. A couple of simple barbarian hunts for huts huddled down in a circle. Let's see if the Reavers are any more challenging than the Thralls. I know they have armor. The Thralls just don't have armor. Oh, sweet weapon. A big skull mace. Looks like a hammer. And they're really using this stump for cover. Let's step up here. It's a pretty rough miss, but we're okay. Let's get 2 men on that. We're going to make sure we go first. Alright, smash him. And that is smashed. Yeah, I figured he would have the same swings as a standard hammer. And he certainly did. So he went for that double swing. If we get this weapon, I want to check it out after. It'll be the first time I see it. He also had a bear hat. Boy, you better give me that bear hat. Putting a surround like this on this type of enemy with this type of weapon is pretty dangerous. But I think we'll, because of our adrenaline, yeah, we're faster. And as long as we hit him there, we should be fine. So we got the weapon, the two-handed skull hammer, a crude metal hammer used with 2 hands to crush both armor and its wearer alike. I mean, that's like a middle game hammer. Unfortunately, we're kind of like past that already. If we'd have got that early on, that would have been on, probably on Svarog. Let's take a look at him. Check that out. That's intimidating as hell. I'm happy we're finally fighting these barbarians, though. They still don't like us. Hopefully they don't send anyone out to hurt us. I guess because the house itself likes us, their units aren't attacking us. Which is nice. Because I thought for sure there's a possibility that some garrisons or something could jump out and want to wreck us. So let's take advantage of this time we have to clear out some of this northern space. I'm surprised I'm not just seeing tons of locations up here. You know, we're right in the middle of kind of, it's called spike wind. There we go. Yeah, this is just another kind of easy easy fight for us. And then we don't really have to do this, but I'm going to do this now anyway. I just want to make sure I don't want to use any ammunition for this fight. Let's keep it basic. It's nighttime. I don't want to be shooting arrows at night, wasting it. We don't have a lot of arrows left, and if we have a big greenskin battle coming up, I want to make sure that we're provisioned for that. So we're just going to pass and let them close the distance with the Wiedergangers, and then we're going to try and, you know, of course, catch the Necromancer. We have a lot of war dogs to do that with. Was hoping for an even stronger Barbarian fight. And I have some locations on the map which I want to take before they get too strong. Pass everyone once again. It's going to take them at least another turn to get to us. This one might because he's possessed, but I don't think so. Yeah. If we hadn't have completely passed, we could hit him with the Great Sword probably. But it's not a big deal. 72%. We hit it. Ugh, 3 attacks with that. But that's a skirmishes. But we have Battle Forged and a huge piece of armor. And with that decapitation, he is done. And we're using military cleavers and a Khopesh versus the Undead. That's a very good weapon combination. Anytime you can get a decapitation, you prevent the Undead from rising. Unless they're fallen heroes. Fallen heroes can come back with no head. I do love our one spear bro in the center. Pass, let them come to us. Be patient. They're not all that dangerous. This group is pretty small. The trick here is just going to be to make sure we can get to the Necromancer before he runs away. And a second decapitation. I wonder if you say Isaac or Isaac. I've just been saying Isaac. But he's not playing around. Says there's still 2 enemies that we haven't seen. I guess he just has a bit of a bodyguard back there. Probably 2 armored Wiedergangers to prevent him from being snuck up on. The AI used to not protect the Necromancers at all. And you could just send someone around and kill them. In the later stages of the game, when their enemies are going to be, you know, huge groups with, you know, really powerful enemies like fallen heroes, that's usually what they do. They keep back 2 or 3 fallen heroes to protect themselves. Which is kind of nice, because sometimes 2 or 3 fallen heroes in the front line would be really overwhelming. I think we can step forward there. Nice, another decapitation. Battle Brothers is the only time you can get away with using that sentence. And just like that, we completely negated the Necromancer's turn. His benefit of possessing is gone. Because he used his entire turn to try and get through that spear wall and just couldn't do it. And another decapitation. This is crazy. I guess we are using a lot of sharp blades. We'll just jump in here with the spear wall. Hopefully they don't resurrect underneath us and push us. Kind of sounded like they did a little damage to our shield, maybe. And I should have attacked this guy, but they're both near death. Right now it's just all about closing the distance here. And these are just 2 Wiedergangers. Step here. Another decapitation. I'll take it. Svarog doesn't... No, that's Isaac. Isaac doesn't afraid of anything. Not you, Svarog. You're a little bit afraid of stuff sometimes, I think. Okay. Had to expect the resurrect. Probably going to get at least 1 more. 2 more. Swing for the ones not directly adjacent to us to make sure we have the best chance of hitting. Dang, I honestly expected to clean up there. But they're not going to move. They almost never do. They do make effective use of the pushback, though, with their shields. We'll lock him down. Okay, at least he hit. Skibo has such low melee skill. Yeah. And we stepped in here just to make sure we diversified his target. A possessed sword-bearing Wiederganger like that can do a lot of damage to Wonton. And if we gave him more than 1 target, there was a good chance he would take it. Good. We've closed the distance. Now we just got to lock down the Necromancer. Good. Double pole hammer slam. We'll wait and let him move. Got to kill him to get all the way in the back line. Oh, we're just a little bit too tired to go for the split. Otherwise, we might be able to kill both of them. But at least now we're on the Necromancer. Let's go for that. And now he's starting to want to run. Perfect. Got to anticipate he's going to resurrect, so we're not just going to completely pass our turn. Oh, and he's running now, so he's dead. Good. A little stab in. Now we can see that he desperately needs a haircut. Been living in the woods too long with the zombies. And beheading. What a fitting end. Oh my god, and we picked up another battle-hardened plated coat. Jeez. This piece of layered armor belonged to a famed mercenary once. Its high resilience and flexibility make it a remarkable piece of craftsmanship. And it even comes with extra pockets. Alright. That made it worth it. And that is going to go straight onto Svarog. And now Svarog had some upgraded armor. That is going to go onto Wonton, keep our sergeant alive. And then our last male shirt is gone from the front lines. We're in at least full hauberk. And Eugene could use some better armor since he's out on the wings. Burke has leveled. And we're going to take Brawny on him. Try and help his fatigue out a little bit. That was only 6, but when we add 4 to that, that won't be that bad. Another 4 to his range skill. And I kind of want to get him just a bit more survivable. No reason to go really too much past 80. A 4 in resolve, get him up to that 50 point would have also been good. Now Wonton could use Shield Expert for sure. Let's check out his stats. We'll take a 2, because that's probably as good as we're ever going to get. A 2 here, and probably just a 2 here over a 5 in Resolve. Yeah. So here we can either go something like Berserk, Indomitable. I used to love Fearsome, but against some enemies it's just no good. We're going to want probably Crippling Strikes and Executioner on him, but we're going to need Shield Expert. So let's get that. If he can't do damage, he needs to be able to take damage. And Indomitable is going to come in handy for that. How many points do we have left? 3, I guess. We could probably do Indomitable, Crippling Strikes, Executioner. Crippling Strikes Executioner is just amazing on Spear Bros, because all you need to do is be able to hit, and then you have that chance of causing an injury. And that makes it such a more even fight. Okay, still heading over to Eadsvir, or Eadsvik. It's hard to see, it's kind of dark on my screen too, as I'm sure it is on yours. And another place to fight. Did I miss anything? Did I pick up anything that I should have considered putting? Decayed Heater Shield, that's the first one of those we've seen. Not really great for using, sadly. And because these are broken, we'll probably just end up throwing them away. But we have enough inventory space to carry everything we want. So let's jump into here. We can't see what we're fighting though. This could be quite dangerous. More undead. God dang it. Well, when you're in the north, you have to expect to be fighting the undead. Oh, and I forgot to change over my weapons, but that's okay. I don't really want, like I said, to use my ammunition right now. Let's save the money. And this is what we're fighting. Just a couple Nagzurhers that we need to focus fire. That way they can't ever become level 3s. And then some lame zombies again. But just like that last fight, which wasn't really that hard, we picked up another amazing, like, God mode piece of armor. I would love to get a unique weapon, though. We've gotten 2 unique helmets and 4 unique pieces of armor now, but no weapons. Which is interesting. The odds on that are... Oh, and a unique shield. That's true. We also got a unique shield. Jotnar just looks amazing. Yeah, and so does Farog, too. I can't wait till he gets a unique helmet as well. And we gave him the upgraded version of this armor, the one that we added the shoulder pads to. Because he is a two-hander, we want to really maximize his battle forged. That's what I was looking for there. He has no shield to mitigate damage for himself. So when he gets hit, I mean, he's going to get hit. He's not going to be able to dodge as easily. His melee defense is not that high yet. And because this is in the snow, I feel like they still won't be able to reach me this turn. So I could probably just pass, but in the off chance that one of them does reach me, I want to be able to hit them. So this is a bit time consuming. Just waiting instead of passing. Alright, now we just pass. So I'm just kind of looking at our gear right now. We would really love to get one more Saleh helmet. That would be a nice upgrade for Eugene. And the next step for us in armor really is to get out of the male hauberks, which aren't bad. I mean, 150 at this point in the game. We could still be scrounging for really, really bad pieces. But luckily we killed a lot of footmen. We want to get into the reinforced mail, I think is what it's called. And they're 230, I think. Either 210 or 230. And that's like the next step up for us. When I look at armor and its durability and how I think about it, it's about every 30 durability is about a hit from your average enemy, especially once you have Battle Forged. If you average it out over time, I figured about 30 durability is one hit. One solid hit. A little more from a, an Orc Warrior, a little less from an Armored Wiedeganger. But on average, the first hit you take almost no damage thanks to Battle Forged. Same for the second, third, fourth even if you're wearing really, amazing pieces of armor. But after that, sometimes you'll start taking 50, 60 damage from whatever you're fighting, unhold and things like that. So it's not a direct one-on-one, but when I average about 30, I figure that, a piece of armor like the Reinforced Mail at 210 or 230, whatever it is, this is only 150. So if you figure, let's say it's 210 just because my memory is failing me, that is 60 more armor, which to me averages about 2 more hits. And having your entire front line be able to take 2 more hits, that's a big deal in a game like this where, it's basically all numbers. And that type of thing matters. So while, we're wearing some pretty ridiculous armor, and I didn't mean to pass there, I should have hit that guy with my Kopesh. So while we're wearing some pretty ridiculous armor, our fatigue doesn't really bear it out as well as I wish it did. We're suffering offensively because of how good our defense is, and then in some cases, our defense isn't even as good as it could be. Killing him would have been awesome. The last thing we want is for these Nagzurhers to eat and to grow into level 2s. So when we can, we're going to smash them like we just did. And there's only one left. We'll pass, see if they want to jump in. Ooh, and they're giving me a triple swing. And this is why the Greatsword is deadly. Got to be careful. If you do it here, you'll hit your own dudes and you will wreck them. So we decapitated one. We got the reset thanks to Berserk, and we took out the other guy. Probably should have killed him over him, just because he has a spear. There we go. No more Nagzurher threat, or Nagzurher. For those of you who don't know, I was a little bit of a linguist in the army. Spoke some Russian, but this I guess it's like German/Polish, I want to say. The developers, they draw on, like myths and legends from Eastern Europe. Or just Europe. I don't want to sound, too ignorant. I think it's mostly Eastern European myths and legends. Some like northern, more Nordic stuff has been added with this DLC. But I think that's awesome. And I was talking with some people in the comment section about the potential for even like Arabian-themed DLC in the future. Just in the same way that the Southlands are kind of an untapped potential. Now we go in the north, right, and we fight these undead, kind of very similar to Game of Thrones, honestly. And, barbarians. And you're basically fighting the enemies in the places where you expect to find them. And how cool would it be if there were some like Bedouin-themed units that you could get? And I've been pushing for like cavalry for a long time. I talk about it pretty often. But if you could make knights, and you could make like camel riders and wolf riders, and you could make all kind of stuff. You could make like mammoths that carry multiple guys on their back, and they just take up a huge tile, but they move really slow. The potential for Battle Brothers is really just, it's completely in the hands of overhyped studios. And I don't know what the budget is for stuff like that. Hopefully all of these DLCs sell very well. I haven't looked into it. I imagine they're doing okay because they're making it. They're making them now. I don't know anyone who knew that this DLC was on their radar, especially after Beast and Exploration released. Because I remember after I think it was the Linworm DLC, they were like, that's it guys, see you later, have a nice life. And it felt kind of bad because I was like, man, this game is so great, they could do so much with it. And I'm just happy to see that it's successful. But there's so much potential. And as long as they keep adding stuff, I will be here playing it. And hopefully making videos too. But yeah, man, you could have mammoths for like barbarian themed armies. You could have, oh man, I was just thinking about it. You could have like dragon riders, dudes who like ride lindworms into battle as like the ultimate, just another really cool enemy like dragon knights. You could make all kinds of stuff. Give them like keeps up in mountains. Give you something to kind of fear in the mountain areas of the world. Have events where you find mounts. I don't know, unicorns, Pegasus, all that type of stuff. Pegasus basically just horses, maybe with increased movement range, but they can't wear armor, whereas like a warhorse could wear some heavy armor. That's just like stuff off the top of my head. Wolf riders, they've already kind of got those in the game. It's a matter of really just implementing a system that they've already created themselves. In the same way that you kind of buy dogs and put them into like an accessory slot, you could make a new mount option and just have the upkeep be really high to make sure that in the early game people don't just, go full out with the cavalry. And you can also make there be a huge downside. Make it so that spears and halberd type units and polearm type units do bonuses versus mounted targets, right? So that sometimes having cavalry or having all of your units mounted like that is just not the best thing for every situation. I could see that being a very cool way to do that. So here we picked up metal joint covers, an augmentation, an attachment if you will, 30 durability with only -3 fatigue, and we're definitely going to equip that. And we also picked up some Naxura brains. It's a new crafting material for us. We haven't seen that one yet. I forget exactly what it's used in, but I'm sure we'll find out once we finally get to a taxidermist. So let's attach this, and I was kind of thinking we should just attach it here to this battle hardened. We could also attach it to Sir Lancel, and I think that's probably better. There we go. And now he's up to 220. That hits his fatigue a little bit, but we care about Sir Lancel a lot. We don't want him to die. So let's give him the best armor we can. And I do like that addition. So Berserk, must have, take it. 4, 3, and a 1 is pretty pitiful. So we may just end up rolling with this 3 in melee defense. Let's take it. And we're finally almost here. And we've got enough time today. I think we can take on this orc. Marauding greenskins. They're not really paying us a lot to do it. Ooh, we don't. No. I love how they play the danger music whenever the peasants came out. Oh man, our first goblins. So goblin raiders, ambushers, skirmishers, yeah, and wolf riders. So we haven't seen them at all in this playthrough. And in my last playthrough, man, I saw too much of them. Especially doing the Goblin City and that whole quest line, which is super fun, but boy, is that a lot of work. We have some stuff to sell when we get back. We're going to make some money. And they're chasing the peasants. Fighting goblins in the snow. That might be a nightmare. They're super annoying. If you've never faced goblins before... Oh, and they put us at the bottom of a hill. Kill me. We don't have Pathfinder to kill me. So the Wolf Riders jump forward. It's their job. They tie you down. They use their super high initiative and super far movement speed to pin you in place while their archers sit back comfortably and shoot at you. But if we can kill them quickly, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. These are 2 units. You kill the Wolf Rider, and then you still have to fight the wolf. Let's wait. We need to see how we can move forward with our front line. That was a big hit. Use Indomitable. I kind of meant to use something else, but that's okay. Down goes the rider. Now it's just the wolf. And with some of our brothers, they need to move to engage the back line. Goblins use poison as part of their kit. They also use nets and bolas. They're pretty nasty to fight, and they're really annoying. The skirmishers, or the ambushers rather, they'll basically never let you get close. They have really high evasion. And the fact that we started in the snow at the bottom of a hill is just like, wow. Like the world hates us. And I have a feeling we're just not going to land many shots. Well, we're going to move forward since we can't even use our shields for cover here. I was hoping we could take one step with them. So they use poison. They haven't gotten any poison on us yet. There we go. I mean, that's poison. He's essentially useless now. We can just pull him back. He's taken a lot of hits for us. And the poison reduces their vision, which is essentially their range. And I think it messes with their fatigue a bit too. And we also have to watch because goblins use like armor-piercing weapons. They also have footwork, which you just saw in action. So they can leave your zone of control. There's a lot of annoying things about goblins. Wow, we missed everything. That was a lucky shot, and those were unlucky shots. So take them as they come. They also have really weak morale if you can get them to run. Let's use adrenaline. Indomitable is definitely not what I meant to use the last time. I meant to use adrenaline to make sure we could attack him and probably kill him. But if we're getting close to them in melee, they're going to start jumping back and then they're not going to be able to shoot. We could adrenaline to try and guarantee that we get onto them, but I would almost rather them basically be scared and jump back. And if he had wavered or broken there, that would have been great because then we would have been able to leave his zone of control and lock down that ambusher. Alright, we've got the high ground. Alright, some of our brothers can go first. And we missed. Jeez. Perfect. Perfect. And there we go. Now they start running. Goblins like never let you get them. Ugh. Wolf Riders start running pretty early. The first signs of trouble. And yeah, he bled out. His wolf bled out. They're playing smart. They're using real tactics. Eugene, pole hammer time. Let's do it, man. You can't. Okay. Back up a little bit. There's really no good way to chase them. You just need dogs. And to get a little bit lucky. Like if we just had a little bit more movement there. So let's check out the effects of the Goblin Poison. -2 action points, -2 vision, -20 initiative. That's rough. And you hear our guys are breathing hard from running through all that snow. That hurt. Aim shot all the way down there. Are you serious? Could consider using dogs. Come on, just get the kill. There we go. Let's keep our polearm bros together. Adrenaline, let us go first. Okay, they want some. I did not think they would want to come back, but it looks like he does. Perfect. Get smashed. We'll never be able to catch him, and probably him either. And now that that Wolf Rider is gone, there's no way to catch him. This dude is going to die, though. A horrible, horrible death. Man, we took some damage there, considering it was a small group of goblins. But what a annoying fight. Fighting them in the snow uphill. Like, someone up there hates us. This is where Pathfinder really comes in handy. I guess all we're going to do now is take care of him, and then it'll give us the option to let them run, and we will. It's over. Damn you, goblins. And this place doesn't even like us. So it's not like we can even come over here and rest. We have to go all the way back. And these places are most likely huge by now. As we've gotten stronger, so too have they. Maybe we can take one more fight on the way back. If I see a fight, I may take it. But I would hate to have something bad happen right at the end of today's episode. But we have just a few minutes. That's all we really need to get back and get our crowns. Make some sales. No reason to start tomorrow's episode with us walking a long distance. The Red Legion, hired by Donnerstad. Okay, we don't want to attack those guys. If they were hired by these guys, which house is that again? House Harkin? We would probably attack them and take our first mercenary fight. Mercenaries have good gear, and a lot of times you can just straight up steal it from them. But I think, you know what? Let's take one more fun fight. Did we get any levels from that Goblin business? We did not. Just a few little injuries. Okay. One more Barbarian fight to end the day. Get that Goblin fight out of our minds. Man, what a small little... We need a challenge. I want to just get just a few more good pieces of armor. And then I basically never want to fight thralls again. Unless they're in a group with, you know, the Chosen or a bunch of... I mean, look at that. Unless they're in a group with a bunch of Unhold and drummers and stuff. This is just an uninteresting slaughter. Poor doggos. Didn't really get anything cool. Oh, we got 2 amber shards. That was worth it. That's going to sell for a lot. That's going to help a ton. And 9 tools for a fight that didn't cost us any tools is also not shabby. Let's go through the center here. You come to see the burnt remains of a hovel. There are skeletons about the rubble, bones jagged and clamoring in what was final, painful desperations. A lock lays in a pile of ash beside what should have been the door, suggesting the people held up inside while the outsiders simply burned the place down. Sir, you should see this. Leisureside, the thaumaturge beckons you over. He's standing before a tree. There's a dead goblin leaning against the trunk, palms out, empty. An ugly look on his face, and a pitchfork in its chest. A dead orc beside it with a shovel head sticking out of its skull. Leisureside, the thaumaturge wonders if they killed each other. You hope so, but their mortal wounds look a lot like a human's doing. And if it were a human's doing, it's possible these greenskins were working together. The thought frightens you deeply. So I think we're just getting the hints now that our first conflict, our first worldwide conflict, is going to be with the greenskins. We're going to have the greenskin invasion. And yeah, I mean, that's a pretty fun one. So here we have a plethora of Barbarian Reavers. Should I just leave that for tomorrow? I don't think so. You know what, guys? I've been playing for a long time. Let me just save my game. I don't trust my internet. I don't trust anything around here. Let me save. Let's get into this. The Tribal Warriors Camp. Barbarians have flocked to this place and set up camp around a site of worship. A lot of fierce northern warriors are likely to be found nearby. So a plethora of Barbarian Reavers. This is a real fight. 14 of them. Yeah, let's do it. Oh god. This is the part where I get wrecked because I underestimate Reavers because I've never fought them before. I see 4 throwing spears. I hate these weapons. These are like brother killers. And a lot of these dangerous maces and hammers. Okay, these guys are the real deals. We asked for a fight. And we got it. They brought it. Get what kills and what hits we can. First turn shield wall might be super important for us. Man, how are we missing? That's indomitable. Shield wall. Indomitable. Let's get real defensive. Let's let them waste their first turns crashing against us. This is going to hurt our fatigue a little bit, but... Ooh, that hurt our shield. We need protection versus these throwing spears, and the axes, and the javelins. We weather the first onslaught that almost destroyed our shield. God. We tried to break our shields are still intact. And a swap. Boy, this is a real fight. Our archers need to work overtime here. Because now we're in pretty serious danger of being flanked. This big ball of barbarians here, we need to do something about that. Okay. Hopefully we were ready for this. Let's close this. Indomitable. We could try and hit him on the head. Go for the stun, and we landed it. Perfect. Did some damage. But man, we're getting overwhelmed. We can step here and go for that. Perfect. Now let's use Indomitable. Our archers are a little bit exposed right now, but they're not pushovers in melee either. So if we have to, yeah, let's step up here. We'll just pull out our pole arms and go to town that way. Stun paid off. Yeah, and they're in our back line, pretty deep. Let's go for him. Even the odds a little bit. Are any of these dudes damaged? They're really not. They're also not really wearing helmets either. Kill him. Damn. Okay, I'll take a hit any which way I can get it. Step in here. Tempted to use a dog because we have so many extra. Big hit. Good kill. Taking a little bit of the heat. Wow, they're really trying to encircle us. I would have expected them to just straight up close the distance, but... Alright, Ozzy's in it now. Oh god, that hurt. Fritz. Wonton, okay. Who's hurt? Who can we pick off? This guy, potentially. Bill Hook with the big hit. And then we drop a dog here to distract. The battle standard is raised. 31%. Not very good odds we were going to land that. Do some of that. Drop another dog. I think it's time. We've got some brothers who are taking some heavy hits. Keeping him away from us is pretty good. Ooh, Fritz. Yeah, misses are just going to get us dead. Okay. Man, he's messed up. He's going to get to attack first, and there's a good chance he just kills Fritz. Come on, don't kill Fritz. One shield down. Don't kill Wonton either. I think we can get this guy. I just don't know if we can save Wonton. We're in such crummy positions. Okay. Some rough misses. 43 versus a 50. Nice. We step in here, we can get another shot on this guy. Was hoping for some kind of route. And we just missed too many crucial attacks. We're just asking to get killed at this point. This might be a mulligan fight. Yeah. I honestly think I might just reload from the save. It's not my favorite thing to do, but this was kind of a test fight for us. We didn't know whether or not we could take these guys. We didn't even know how strong they were, having never fought them before. But we can definitely see now they're not pushovers. And we might just want to go and turn in. Man, Fritz just missed everything. He's kind of, if he dies here, it's really his own fault. Because Wonton got smashed. Yeah, and also Skibo didn't hit anything either. Whew. Still just a nice kind of like a testing battle. I don't know. I hate not going with the results of the battle. But I mean, we were well past the hour, and I really just wanted to do something fun. I mean, he survived. What does he have? Brain damage? That's actually a good thing. That's crazy. Hold on. I mean, we're obviously going to keep this, especially because we got a firm shield. And by keep this, I mean, we're not going to reload. I don't think I ever was going to, but I was considering it because it's just, whenever I go past an hour, something bad always happens in my recordings. And then I just feel like an idiot for not shutting it off and, you know, doing my outro. But I always just want to keep playing and I want to keep giving you guys new fun stuff to see. But it kind of ends up being my downfall a lot of the time. And we picked up the firm shield. So a large and thick wooden shield of foreign style. It offers great protection despite its peculiar form. So it's a really good shield, just huge range defense. Once again, some crude metal helmets, some more of the hide and bone armors. So now we know, Reavers are not guys you want to mess with in huge numbers. Crowns, lots of crowns, tons of tools, and valuable furs. In larger settlements, they're a very sought after commodity. So today's going to be an extra long episode. I don't mind keeping, I'm not going back, guys. We're not going to reload the save. I hate doing that and it's kind of cheesy. Here I think, let's give this shield, does that look cool? I don't know. I think it looks cool. Or would it look cooler? And I'm just doing this purely by aesthetics, which is kind of stupid. But that's kind of cool too, though. I like this. I like this a lot. So let's go turn in our stuff. We'll level up after. He is now brain damaged, Wonton Fu. A hard hit to the head shook some things up and didn't exactly benefit this character's cognitive skills. On the bright side, he may now just be too stupid to realize when it's time to run. So his experience gain is much worse. However, he does have student, which kind of counteracts that. And his initiative is bad, but his initiative was never good to begin with because he's going to be wearing heavy armor and carrying heavy stuff. So, really no downside almost at all. He just gets plus 15% resolve, which is remarkable because he's also our sergeant, which means his rally the troops are going to be like legendary. He'll be able to call anyone back to battle. So let's just quickly get over to Camp White before I make any more dumb battle decisions. God dang it. I want to kill these dudes. So, okay. Calling it, guys. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you appreciate me going just a little bit above and beyond to have some fun. And we ended up getting some great loot out of it. So, really no harm, no foul. We didn't really even check it out too much, but I guess we can do that in tomorrow's episode. Right now, I gotta leave. I gotta go get my kids from school. Responsibilities always come first. Kids always come first. But guys, that's it. Once again, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And I hope you stay tuned for the next one where we will kill more barbarians. I'm so excited to finally be fighting them. We're going to make a fortune when we finally get to sell. And yeah, and then we'll be out ready to explore, healed up, and good to go. Alright, y'all. Later, and take care.